Okay, yes. So today we will continue our lecture related to the energy management, specifically related to the overview of electricity supply, tariff classification, and charges. Okay, so I will share you the slide later, but for now, we just refer to the slide via my PC. So this is the, I would say, the basic um, portion of electricity supply, which is this the overall overview. It starts with the power station. Normally, this power station can be in the form of steam power plant or coal power plant or whatever power plant, such as hydro power plant, okay, solar farm, or windmill. It can be any power station. But normally in Malaysia, so we go for the steam power plant and also the coal power plant. So the idea is the main source of the power station to be distributed across the country. Okay, so normally they have the 400 kV transmission grid, which is we can see at outside from our house. Along the way nearby, I mean, beside the road, okay, the transmission grid. Okay, sorry, this one is a grid from the electric provider, and then go for the distribution grid, smaller, okay, and then go to the user in the form of the domestic user or industry, light industry or heavy industry. So for our home, 240 volt in AC current, okay. For the light industry, 11 kilovolt, and then for the heavy industry, 33 kilovolt. Okay, and then distribution grid, okay, distribution grid to distribute uh, from the power station from 400 kilovolt transmission grid, and then try to distribute from 400 to become 132 kilovolt, and then delegate to the others user. Electricity supply. Okay, I will try to push this one. Okay. The generation process, it takes place in a power station. So this one is power station, and involve the conversion of primary energy from fossil fuel into electricity. Okay, and it is a generating stage that all the pollution associated with electricity produce is created. Electricity generation is a complex and costly business which involve the construction, operation, maintenance, and large power station, purchase, transportation, and storage of primary fuel. So this is the part that the prime source of energy, which is a very costly. Okay, so that's the idea comes to the various number of the tariff because to compensate the cost of the energy produced. Okay, so that's the thing. So it's mentioned over here. Primary is energy from fossil fuel, electricity, stage all the pollution associated. Okay, so that's why we try to change from the fossil fuel resource to the more cleaner energy resource, so that when it comes to the generating power, we can able to manage more cleaner or greener environment. Okay, so the higher demand for the energy means that the higher electrics need to be produced, and when we use for the fossil fuel, our resources, meaning that we create more harmful gas to the environment. Okay. Next, the transmission process. So this one, firstly, and then secondly, to the transmission process. This is the process whereby electricity and transport through transmission grid over long distance around a region of country. Transmission grid is operated at a high vary voltage, for example, 400 kV, in order to minimize the energy waste. Okay, so then go to the transmission grid. Welcome Izzat, yeah, transmission grid, and then go for the distribution grid. Okay, distribution process. So from here, power station, the main producer, go to the transmission grid, first stage of the transmission grid, and then after a while, go to the distribution grid. Okay, this one. Once the electricity has been transmitted over a long distance at high voltage, it must then be distributed to the various end user. At various points along the transmission grid, electricity will be spawned off into a local distribution network. Okay, so that's the way. After that, after the transmission grid, go for the distribution grid, and yet try to delegate to the user accordingly. I mean, for the domestic industry and heavy industry. Okay. And that this process is not easy to identify to the process. This do not involve any obvious hardware, but it's not that important. All utility company have to their market, their product in order to attract customer. Okay. So after all the process generating and distribute all the energy throughout the grid transmission and the distributor, and also to the user. So then the cell process. By considering all these um, work from the power station until to the distribution grid, so they need to consider all the costs. So that's come to the tariff that they try to compensate the cost that they produce all the energy. So this is the summary of the electricity generation. Okay. It can be from a coal, from the oil, gas, nuclear, hydro, etc. And then go for the national origin and transmission. And then next, I'll go to the local distribution. Depends on the voltage they are need to require for this load or demand. And then they go for the sale to customer according to the load. For example, they say the domestic tariff different than the industry tariff. So that's the good things about it. But of course, we need to be very careful on utilizing or consume all the energy, because whichever value of the energy you need to pay off. Okay, it's not necessary. It's not. There's no such thing the free energy. All the single kilowatt hour you use or consumption that you are use for any electricity or energy, you need to pay. So that's why you need to learn about the energy management so that you can appreciate every single kilowatt hour, because it can be converted in the form of the monetary. So this is the sample of the power plant. So when we talk about this power plant, this power station, okay, so it refer to this one. This one. Jimah Negeri Sembilan. Okay. So Jimah Negeri Sembilan. Okay. So and then some more Sultan Sarul Abdul Aziz Selangor, Tanjung Bin, okay, Malaysia Melaka, okay, 748 megawatt. Just imagine 748 megawatt. Okay. This one, 1,000, 2,000 megawatt. More or less. So for your information, normally during the face-to-face session, sir will bring uh, the student to visit one of this power plant. Okay. Okay. This for example, for the last two semester, which is in um, semester 2 2009 2019, if I'm not mistaken, we go to the Tanjung Bin location Johor by bus. Okay. So we arrange during the class session to visit this Tanjung Bin power plant. Okay. So the student have the opportunity to ask directly to the engineer over there and also have a short visit throughout the plant, and also have the sharing and share the finding related to the operating system for that particular Tanjung Bin power plant. Okay. So this is a few number related to the power plant. Manjung, okay, if you have not been there, okay, Mukah, Manjung, so 2,000 megawatt, Mukah, 200 something. So si Jingkat, Sarawak, more or less 200 megawatt, more or less. Okay, okay, electricity tariff. Okay. Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka Dictionary define tariff as a fixed price list of payment. Okay. So in electricity tariff, it's payment price list for electricity supply service to customer. So basically, the tariff is a crucial value or number that been set by the electricity provider to be charged to the consumer or user. Okay, so we are the one, the user or consumer, need to wisely use all the energy, and if not, we need to pay according to the electricity tariff. Okay, so this is the uh, portion of the expenditure for certain process of electricity generation from the power plant into the consumer or grid. Firstly, okay, change of fuel price that impact cost of electricity, plus price fixed specific order every 6 months. The price is determined according to market price. Okay. So we need to be careful on this. And then cost of electricity constitute cost for generation. So in generation means that this one uh, generation or possession generation, and the delivery means that the transmission. Okay, the transmission uh, from the main grid or to the smaller grid. Transmission means this one. From the position go to transmit. And then the distribution. Distribution is that the segregation of the power to the user or public. Okay, so basically this is the portion of the cost involved related to produce the energy, which is the generation the power itself costs up to 70%. Delivery transmission is about 10%, and distribution costs. Distribution costs means that some of the energy going to the building, some of the energy going to your house. So you need to know the portion of the energy produced until they produce the tariff. So up to January 2014, the tariff is 38 ringgit 53 cent per kilowatt hour. So bear in your mind, they say the unit mentioned kilowatt hour involved with the time or kilowatt hour, meaning that it's refer to the utilization of the energy, utilization of the energy. So in other words, in 2000, in January 2014, 1 kilowatt hour only charge you 38 cent. 38 cent. So it's a quite relatively low, right? This is the trend of the tariff from 2006 until 2014. As you can see, it always increase from year to year. So that's the issue related to the tariff, because it's a very rarely to be going down and normally it will be going down. So you as an engineer, my future engineer, need to know. Okay? Malaysian electricity tariff. Okay? So basically, it will be governed by the policy from the government. Okay? Um, and fuel gas and coal price, okay? Or purchase cost from independent generator, supply cost to user, okay? Tariff rebalancing, reasonable return, ratio support to certain sector to catalyze economic growth, and last but not least, impact on the socio-economic consumer. Electricity tariff, okay, start 1st January 2014. The new electricity tariff is in place with the government expiration. Okay. So fortunately, 70% of the domestic user are not affected. Okay. So the new electricity tariff setting methodology is based on the economic regulatory framework called setting-based regulation produced by Suruhanjaya Tenaga. Yeah. So Suruhanjaya Tenaga is the agency or body that concerned about the energy utilization, technology of the energy, or whatever energy that you can able to share this. Okay, so that's the just to show you the difference between the tariff from house and building. Okay, on commercial custom. So you can see the tariff for the house for the domestic slightly lower compared to the others. So normally it comes to the condition for the public consent. So which is you can read the detail on the slide. Okay. So commercial 40%, and for domestic more or less the half of the commercial use, which is 21%. And it depends on the how much of maximum demand you are produce. Secondly, how much is the tariff will be used to charge the consumer. Okay, so need to careful. For industrial customer and also the promotion of the renewable energy, the revised from 30 cents to 36 cents for this one. Okay, so but the big idea is like this. Normally it goes up and never going down. Okay, so you need to be careful because from the time to time the tariff will be increased, so that we need to wisely spend our money to ensure that we are not running loss, or else we can sustain our our project by not affected the increment of the fee or the tariff. And then after that, related to the tariff, electricity tariff, they start in 2014. If you notice from your bill, that paper bill, okay, they specify the utilization or the charges related to the renewable energy, which is RE. Okay, so that one is the money that they are collect to perform or to conduct any works or any technology or any project or whatever any of RE exercise or work related to the producing energy to the country. Okay, it can be in the form of the research, it can be in the form of the grant that you can develop the technology, it can be in the form of the technology itself you need to bring in to discover to suit with the application. Okay, so 1.6% question also be tourist to Sabah and Labuan and will be payable by all the consumer except for domestic consumer who use less than 300 kilowatt hour per month. So exceptional to those who are using less than 300 kilowatt per hour, so they are not charged for the renewable energy incentive. The energy promotion. Everybody, any question before we continue the session? Until this far? Izzat, are you around, Izzat?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, okay. How about your class just now?
Kelas habis pukul 1 je, Doctor. Saya tertidur.
Ya, astagfirullah. Kelas sampai pukul 1? Start kelas kau?
Saya tadi start kelas pukul 8 sampai 10.
Okay, 8 to 10.
Lepas tu 11 sampai 1.
Oh, afternoon session tak ada kelas?
Tak ada. Zaidi ada kan? Yang
Oh, Zaidi. Zaidi tak ada ni? Zaidi?
Ada.
Zahidi, yeah. Zahidi.
Betul.
Zahidi, how about your class just now? I mean, your
Class 4.
I can't hear you clearly, Zahidi. It's like
Class
a very long
4.
voice from the mic.
Hello, sir.
Okay, just now during the during the afternoon session, what subject? Hisab saja.
Class 2
Okay,
until
everything
4.
okay lah. Okay,
Okay.
not clear.
Okay, sir.
Not that clear. I can't hear you clearly. It's a very slow tone or voices. Can you speak
Sorry, sir.
louder?
Tak ada
Ready?
mic.
Okay, you can use your mic or something. Oh, okay. Ada mic. Oh, yelah. Guna handphone eh. Okay. So, okay guys, since we have the international student, Jiash, over here, so you are tend to speak in English lah, so that Jiash also can understand what you are saying. Is that correct, Jiash? Is that correct, G? Sorry, G. Hmm. Thank you, so welcome,
Oh,
G.
hello. Hello, sir.
So this the Zaidi eh?
Ah, yes, yes.
Okay, so better lah compare previous voice. So now you have the what class, Zaidi? From the previous
He
today afternoon
transfer.
session. Heat transfer.
Ah,
Okay. So also cover from what time? From 2 to until
2 until 4 p.m.
2 until 4, and then straight to the energy management.
Ah, tapi
Very good motivation Zaidi Bagus Very good motivation Okay. Good. So actually only three of us Yeah, wait. So get to click this one. Oh, Nazmi. Okay, sorry. So four of us. So okay, four. Okay. Um, just to mention to you guys, after this, we will try to break maybe 10 to 15 minutes just to perform the Asa prayer, and then we will try to continue back afterward. Okay. So before we go further, before we go for the overview of the electricity supply, tariff classification and charges, any question? If you guys want to answer, I want to ask any question. I will try to check in the chatting box. Thank you so much. Welcome. 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 Yeah, so proceed again. So proceed. And we try to start at 5 for the break. Okay, so you proceed this one. Overview of electricity supply, tariff classification and charges. Okay. As mentioned just now, the main fuel source is over here from the plant, from the power plant. So from the whatever energy or power producer, okay, utility and IPP generation, okay, and then go to the grid, okay, and then go to the smaller grid, and then go to the utilization or the consumer or the public. Okay, it can be in a form of industry, commercial, residential. Okay. So that's the diagram related to the energy resource. Okay. Cost of recovery in general. Okay, so this one 100% of GT and G is the grid, T is transmission, D is the distribution. Okay, new plus existing infrastructure from the distribution, human energy charge, connected load charge, power factor, and etc. So meaning that 25% of the new distribution infrastructure recover via connection charge. Okay, so that's the costing portion of electricity supply or power generated by the power plant. Okay. So it will cost you more or less the transmission part, meaning that the generation, the transmission will cost you relatively high compared to the distribution area, which is 35% only. Infrastructure recover. Okay. So before supply, production charges, everything, and supply commissioning, then supply the monthly utility bill or tariff. Okay. So this is the overview of the electricity classification. TNB electricity tariff pricing based on customer category. So meaning that all the tariff need to be considered as a part of the category. Which is, let's say you are in a house, so it should be in the tariff of the domestic. Okay. If let's say you have the business and your business is quite big, and you can call your business in the form of the factory, so maybe you have another range of the tariff. That can be commercial, it can be industrial, or something. Okay. So next, the supply voltage. You have to check your company or your organization using the one phase or three phase. Okay. So because it will cost you different charges and also the different tariff, which mean for the low voltage, 103 phase, go to the 2330 and 400, medium range from 6,000 to 66,000, and high voltage from the 132 up to 375 voltage. And finally, as a receipt payment to the public, we issued the bills. Okay, operation hours, 84 hours, weekend free. Okay, so this is the detail of the TNB electricity tariff. G, what is the meaning of the TNB, G? Anyone? Can I help G? What is the meaning of the TNB?
Nasional Berhad.
Tenaga Nasional Berhad, G. TNB, Tenaga Nasional Berhad. TNB refer to the electricity energy provider for Malaysia. Okay. I mean for Peninsula Malaysia, sorry, because we have other electricity provider for the Sabah and Sarawak as well. Okay. So for the Peninsula Malaysia, normally we will get use of this TNB. Okay. It's a part of the prime resource of energy producer. So tariff is A, LV. What is the meaning of the LV? Low voltage commercial, medium voltage until H3. Okay, so it depends. So let's say we are in the domestic, we should refer to the tariff using the A tariff. Okay, if we are going to the, for example, the industry, okay, so maybe we can go for the low voltage industry. Okay, depends. What is the range of our utilization or the energy demand for that particular company. Okay. So this is the electricity tariff for domestic customer, increasing rate may vary. Such of increasing rate for energy efficient energy. The rate of higher band group will affect cost to service, and the rate of the higher band affect, okay, sorry, lower rate, less band rate to protect our income. Okay, so that's the band of kilowatt hour and the rate of so if you can see from this level, it will show you the smaller value of the kilowatt hour we give you the lowest charge or rate. Okay. And then if you go for the higher rate of, oh sorry, for the higher range of kilowatt hour, you can experience more rate or higher rate of the utilization in the form of the cent per kilowatt hour. Okay, so that's why we as a in future you are become the engineer, you should be able to understand this kind of tariff, and yet you can, I would say, strategize. Okay, strategize your electricity consumption at your company or the place you are work. You ensure that you are paid as much as you can based on the tariff available. Yeah. Okay, so this the same story about the domestic, but this one is the tariff B for the low voltage commercial. Okay. So normally in the form of the shop lot. Okay. So if you can see that one, the petrol pump, okay, the store, the shop. Okay. So this one is much more higher. If you can see, this one is the 43.5 cent compared to the domestic started with the 21 cent, almost double. Okay, it almost double. And then they say you are not using at all the, let's say, the shop during that month, the cost. Okay. Okay. Next, same goes to the another tariff, which is the C1 and C2. Okay. So A for the tariff for domestic, B for the low voltage commercial, and now it's a C or C1. Okay. Medium voltage general commercial tariff. Okay. If you can see the rate, it still give you the quite high value. So, but bear in your mind, so they have the one term introduced here, which is maximum demand per month, okay, which is cost you 36.5 cent per kilowatt hour, okay, for all kilowatt hour. So they do not go for the certain specific range of kilowatt hour. They just go for all kilowatt hour for this medium voltage in the commercial. Okay. So if you can see this one, each 4 kilowatt hour for maximum demand for per month give you 30 ringgit per kilowatt. So you need to be very careful to ensure that your organization not running loss due to the paid of the high rate of electricity bill. Okay. If the same goes to the C2, medium voltage peak on off peak commercial tariff, each 4 kilowatt maximum demand for months during the peak period. Okay. 45 ringgit, higher compared to the C1. For all kilowatt hour during the off peak, or peak and off peak, 32, 32 and 36. Okay, so if you can see over here, the minimum charges, let's say you are going to trip for let's say 1 month or 2 months. So you are not running anything at your company or your organization, but you need to pay the minimum charges is 6 ringgit. 600 ringgit. Okay. So that's the sample. So you can see, so the sample of this one is the Mid Valley Mega Mall, considered as a part of the medium voltage general commercial tariff. Okay, so not applicable for the 21. Okay, so next, for tariff D, it will give you the range of the consumption, which is for the first 200 kilowatt, they will charge you the 38, okay? And then following upward 201 until so special industry tariff for consumer for home qualify only, they have the different or special rate, which is 42.7. Okay, so that's the low voltage industrial tariff. So the same goes to here, the tariff for industrial calls to customer, E1 and E2. Okay, so also they charge 600 ringgit for those who go for the minimum charges for overall tariff and consideration. Okay, so this is the another one of preferring the power plant. Okay, so guys, we stop over here for 15 minutes. So we go for the ASA prior first, and then we proceed after the next 15 minutes. Okay, so I stop the record.